The Johannesburg Crisis Alliance says it believes there's a leadership crisis in the city of Johannesburg and has therefore called for Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda's immediate resignation. The alliance handed over its memorandum to the city's Speaker of Council, demanding the fundamental restructuring of the mayoral committee that will represent the interests of the residents of the city. And this follows a peaceful protest at the Johannesburg Metro Centre on Saturday. Gwamanda's leadership abilities is questionable. Members of the alliance, which is a coalition of civil society organizations, say they've witnessed an ongoing regression in the quality of services rendered by the city. The alliance says it does not believe that Kabelo Gwamanda and his team have the prerequisite skills and capability to resolve the deepening governance crisis in the city. All right, and for more on this now, and she's here to talk to us more about the issues in the city of Johannesburg, Executive Manager at Water Can, Dr. Ferrial Adam. Dr. Ferrial, so sorry and apologies for the confusion there a bit earlier on. But of course, I mean, you have joined the growing calls calling for the resignation of Kabelo Gwamanda. Tell us why.
So I think that part of the coalition's call has been that the city of Johannesburg is in a crisis at the moment, whether we're looking at electricity, whether we're looking at water, roads, general service delivery is a concern, and there's been an absence of leadership. So that has been, the call from the Johannesburg Crisis Alliance, in that we need to make sure that the city of Johannesburg works and works well. And under the present leadership, that is not happening.
When you say there have been issues around service delivery in the city of Johannesburg, perhaps if you can just take us through them.
So some of the things that we've been wanting is for example, we have a mayor that continuously comes across as arrogant and uncaring in terms of the electricity surcharge and the tariff increase by the city. There have been calls for that to be reevaluated, and we were told, this is it, and you have to accept it. It's the kind of disdainful behavior that the mayor has had regarding civil society and civil society voices, and I think a society can't function without civil society voices. The prolonged water cuts in recent weeks, despite public assurances by Joburg Water that water supply is being managed adequately, we have not had honest, open, transparent responses to what is going on. The other issue that is of concern is the approval of a 2.5 billion rand loan to cover the city's budget shortfall, bearing in mind that last year they signed a $100 million loan from the IFC, which is a subsidiary of the World Bank. So it's all of this that basically says there's a virtual collapse of services. You just need to look around. The roads are falling apart, traffic lights, cleanliness, waste collection, affordable housing, all of that. And then when things are being investigated, because we think that there's a level of corruption, we have the very, very sad case of the tragic assassination of one of the lead investigators. So for us, all of that says that there are key issues, but from the executive mayor and the mayoral committee, we have not seen any form of leadership on this.
Would you say that when it comes, to the issues being faced in the city of Johannesburg, that they have really been exacerbated by, these tariff hikes that we've witnessed, especially during a time where many South Africans are struggling? But it seems as if, when it comes to the mayor, he really just wouldn't budge when it came to the various complaints from the residents living in the city.
Absolutely. I think part of leadership is about listening to the people that you are supposed to represent. And I think it's important for politicians to remember that they're in positions and they're representing people. We have the right to get them where they are, but they're not listening to us. And so that creates quite a divorced kind of understanding of what's happening on the ground. And if you don't have that, then you're a very poor leader. You cannot just impose this tariff by saying, well, other cities are doing it, at least we're being open about it. No, people are cash strapped in Johannesburg. You need to understand the state of your people that you're supposed to represent and not just force this to happen. People can't afford it. As we heard today at the protest, in an article by Ferrial Adam, people are having to choose whether they boil water for a cup of coffee or save the electricity for something else. These are basic things that you need for everyday life that people should not have to be making. And that's what a 230 Rand surcharge actually means.
Would you say that it's fair to lay this squarely on the mayor when this was actually indeed something that was approved by council and also those in the coalition?
But that's why we are saying it's not just the mayor, it's the mayor and the mayoral committee, because that is the leadership structure. And we're saying as the JCA that whoever takes over those positions, we will still be there as civil society and we will still hold them accountable. Because I think to get Joburg to where we want it to be, we need to have civil society voices and we need to make sure that the city works best for the people that it represents. So it's not about getting, Gwamanda out and then putting another mayor in and thinking we're going to sit back and relax. No, there's a lot of issues around the leadership and it needs fixing. So you're right. This is a long-standing issue in the city of Joburg where we've changed 5 mayors in 18 months. But in terms of the governance, the level of leadership, this mayor and the mayoral committee have been the weakest we've seen in a very long time. So we're asking for that change to get the city working again.
And the mayor himself, he says that he feels as if he's being targeted because he's a black man from Soweto. How do you feel about, the comments that he's saying? And he's saying that, well, he feels he's being targeted right now.
Well, I think that is a cheap shot because that is not really true. I think it's about governance and it's about leading and it's about doing the right thing. So there have been really great leaders that have come from Soweto, which he says he is from Soweto. So it's not about that. It's about getting the work done. And the mayor has proven that is not where he's at. Where it matters, let's talk about that. When there have been water outages, when he needed to come out and help appease people's anger, he's been absent. But you would find him teeing off on a golf tournament. He's done that in November, he's done that in April. Where is he when things really matter?
Yeah.
And that is about leadership. It is not about where you come from.
All right, then, Dr. Ferrial, thank you so much for your time this evening. That's Executive Manager at Watercan, Dr. Ferrial Adam.